Hi, I'm Billy Griffith with the Prince William County Office of Historic Preservation, coming to you today here in Dumfries with Rob Orson. We're here to talk to you today about the Prince William County Resolve, successfully passed on June 6, 1774, at the site of the old Dumfries Courthouse. By this point in 1774, things between the British Empire and their young colonies here in the United States are beginning to boil to a hot point. Up in Boston, the Boston Tea Party in December 1773 has forced Parliament and the King to pass the Corrosive Acts, effectively closing down the port in Boston. And at this point now, a lot of the colonies are going to come to Boston's support, especially here in Virginia. Prince William County is going to pass its first real coordinated dissension against the Crown. And Rob is going to tell you a little bit about that.
Sure. Thank you, Billy. So as Billy said, because of what was going on in Boston, the colonies kind of starting to work together a little bit for the first time after the French-Indian War. Prince William was one of the first counties in Virginia to pass some resolves in support of what was of the colonists in Boston and take opposition to the British Crown. As Billy said, here on June 6th in 1774, they passed numerous resolves. Many believe that George Mason of Gunston Hall was the main author of these resolves, because you'll see very similar language take place in Fairfax a few months later. So you kind of see these same words, same phrases being used by these different counties up here in Northern Virginia. All the county's leaders at that point in time were here. Men like Henry Lee II of Leesylvania, which is now Leesylvania State Park, Foshee Tebbs, who lived here in Dumfries at the Tebbs House, which was located right behind our office at Williams Ordinary. And they also, after they passed these resolves, they actually elected 2 members of their assembly to go back to Williamsburg to serve in the First Virginia Convention. And this convention was kind of an extra legal body to represent the people of Virginia at that time outside of the British rule. So it's very an extra legal, almost pretty much an illegal body to form. But they're going to elect Henry Lee II and Foshee Tebbs, who were also their Burgess members before then. So they're going to go back to Williamsburg and represent Prince William County in the new state convention. I was going to read just a couple of the resolves. It's a whole page. They were published in newspapers across the East Coast. They're published in Williamsburg. A few months later, they're published actually up in Philadelphia and New York as well. So it, really got good coverage across the entire Eastern Seaboard. So I'll read a couple of them to you right now. So one of them said, "Resolved that the city of Boston is now suffering in the common cause of American liberty, and on account of its opposition to an act of the British legislature for imposing a duty upon tea to be collected." Keep in mind, a lot of this started because of the Boston Tea Party, as Billy said, and now you see kind of an opposition to drinking tea, which the colonists were being forced to buy from the East India Company. Another resolution said, "Resolved until the said acts," which were the Corrosive Acts that Billy mentioned, "are repealed, all importation from and exportation to this colony ought to be stopped, except if such colonies or islands in North America as shall adopt this measure." That's big. What that means is they're calling for everyone in the colonies to stop importing British goods or exporting American colonial goods to Great Britain. That is a huge step. And Billy's going to talk a little bit about how successful that really was.
Well, Prince William County passing these resolves, it wasn't just an isolated incident here. Throughout all of Northern Virginia, we're going to see the various counties coming to the support of Boston as well in opposition to the King and Parliament's policies. But not everybody actually supports these policies. In fact, there's a large moderate group still here in Virginia at this time, like throughout the rest of the colonies. People are scared that by boycotting these major importations and exportations, that it's going to lead to bloodshed soon, because the King is relying on this revenue. So if he can't get that money, eventually troops are probably going to have to be sent into Virginia. So people are looking for a much more passive approach to the situation. Many are calling for the freeholders like here in Dumfries to actually petition the King, ask him to repeal the Tea Act and other acts that are being implemented in the colonies. But these fiery patriots like William Grayson and those meeting here in the courthouse are going to believe that it is beyond that course now. We've tried to petition the king. He refuses to take any action. So now it's up to us to take it into our own hands.
Yeah, so you see divisions among neighbors and among friends, but as Billy said, for the most part, the people that met here on June 6, 1774 were all in agreement that some kind of resolve had to have been passed to encourage their former, the former king over in Great Britain, that they meant business, and also to encourage their neighbors to start really hurting the British government where it mattered the most, and that's the pocketbook, right? They're trying to impact the economy of Great Britain to create some kind of action here. Also, one last resolve I forgot to read. I'm going to read this one. It's kind of important because we all hear in school taxation without representation was a big phrase during the American Revolution, and they actually mentioned taxation in one of the resolves. Resolve that no person ought to be taxed but by his own consent, expressed either by himself or his representatives, and that therefore any act of Parliament levying a tax to be collected in America, depriving the people of their property or prohibiting them from trading with one another, is subversive of our natural rights and contrary to the first principles of our Constitution. So you can see now that these colonists here in Prince William County are starting to take a stand in support of their colleagues in Boston. And on the way over here, we're talking, how often do people in Prince William travel to Boston? Very little. So you can kind of see these colonies are starting to come together in support of one another. We're going to wrap up here with, where are we right now? As Billy said, we're in Dumfries. We're here on Fairfax Street. We're next to the plaque that marks the courthouse that stood here. This is the third Prince William County courthouse. Stood here until 1822. On the back side of this little marker is a plaque commemorating the bicentennial of the resolves in 1974. The land here behind me is private property, but the sidewalk is public. You can come up, you can read the marker here, and read about the history that took place here in Prince William County and in Dumfries specifically. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining Billy and I, and we'll hope to see you guys again soon.